Fitness-wise, she's not allowed to.
One of the most challenging things we did was we had to have Angelina and Jerry coming down on these ropes, supposedly from this Chinese cave where they've got these terracotta warriors all stored, which sounded pretty easy until Yam wanted them to come down head first.
It makes for this incredible escape, which is very different as, you know, not many people dive out of a cave, head down a rope, and trying to fight their way out.
That was fun. That was probably one of the more exciting days on the film.
She's literally dropped head first down over the cliff, and it stops 3 feet above the ground.
Bearing in mind that they had to stop like 2 foot from the ground, that was part of the scene. We built 3 big mechanisms at the top and had computerized winches controlling their descent, and also a 3rd mechanism so that we could have a camera tracking down with them as they actually went down.
I do love heights, and like I said, I don't love being under the water, but you could put me anywhere and high, and I'm happy.
She was great. I was always turned around and she's smiling and, you know, so graceful and elegant.
I take my hat off to Angelina and Jerry. It was real courage, a lot of courage that took.
Worst thing I've ever done.
The dropping and just being lifted upside down, and you can see so much space and so much. And when we hit the top, usually we'd hit the sun, and you'd suddenly be. It was beautiful. That was great. It was more just you trying to shoot. I think I was more just aware of being able to accomplish what I had to accomplish. The height and all the dropping was fun, but knowing you have to shoot, and Jerry has to shoot, and he was shooting sideways, and I think, you know, nearly shot me once, because a bullet went like that, because he kind of spun.
She was excellent. I mean, it didn't faze her at all. And it would faze most people, including me.
I mean, obviously you're a little bit more aware that there is only one Angelina, but there maybe are other stunt people. But no, I mean, everything we do, we test, you know, rigidly. It's a real program of testing and retesting and changing things.
We tested, tried, you know, every possible scenario before an artist, or say Angelina in this case, would ever get on a rig.
I'm extremely appreciative of the actors that they were willing and able to do that for 2 days, because it was like very hard to shoot with amazing camera rigs we had to build. The cameras falling at the same speed as they were. You know, I was like, there was very little complaining.
We just had to do it time after time after. I mean, after two shots, I was on the floor crawling. I was like, oh my God. And we ended up doing it, I don't know, like over 40 times over a couple of days.
Try to imagine hanging upside down for 2 days. I think 10 seconds about max she can do.
I thought I was going to puke.
Jerry got a little sick here and there from hanging upside down.
But, you know, as she was willing to do it, you know, you've got to take your hat off. He did it. And like I say, most people would not like that at all. He did extremely well.
But even the stunt guys were saying to me, this is something that even stunt guys hate to do. They said, we've tried it, it's horrible. We're not going to lie to you.
But it's fantastic. You know, I think it's a really unique scene. And it's like, again, and that is what makes this movie so, I think, so amazing, is the incredible variety that's in the action. We had this in this movie, we had the sequence like, they had to escape from the building. How do you escape? And it's like, many things are written, and by a motorbike, by car, a foot race, a bike. And I thought, oh God, we've seen all that before.
Well, the idea came up when I was in America. Like I say, I saw these base jumping videos and free flying videos just with wearing these suits. The idea just came to us that it'd be great to do it in Hong Kong.
Sky flying, it's like parachuting, but there's this new thing that's been invented that you have a suit, and the suit, I think it's like a flying squirrel.
What the difficult thing was going to be is for having 2 people fly together from a very low height and be safe, and us be able to film it. So in the end, I came across this team from Sweden that are used to jumping together.
So we got these 2 crazy Swedish guys who were some of the inventors of this particular suit.
And that's what we needed. We needed 2 people, but we also needed a 3rd person who could actually film them. And they needed to be extremely close together, use the wingsuits, and fly in close formation.
Of course, you know, this is the only time that we had to use stunt doubles, because I would never allow. Although she was willing, she was up for a game too. I said, "No, I want to do. No way, you're going to do this. Absolutely not."
When we was told that we need to scout for a tall building, So we started looking into buildings, But for this one, at the very beginning, we don't have much hope about this. But then after we contact the people there, and they're very nice, and we start to explain to them what we want to do there.
Bingo.
I think this is the third tallest building in the world, and then I think it's more than 1,000. I'm not quite sure, Toby.
I think it's about 1,200 feet.
1,200 feet. Yeah.
Let's back up a tiny little bit, getting a little too close to us, me.
I like all that stuff, but there are a few people in this film that have height issues. We were all worried for them, and there was a few very, very nervous people with sweaty palms walking around. But
me being afraid of heights, I was actually the first one. I was holding on like crazy. Once you get to the top, you look down on every other skyscraper in the town. It was like really a little freaky, to be really honest.
The job we do now is we take wingsuits and fly over the city of Hong Kong.
Right, you go first.
no, you go fast.
Just to get the shots of speed with the wingsuits flying out. And they turn left and go out over the water to get on the freighter later on.
I mean, we did the jump from 1,000 feet, and they opened their parachutes just above 200 feet, which is extremely low. They would hit the ground. If they hadn't opened their chutes, they'd have probably hit the ground in a second to a second and a half. Your heart was in your mouth when you're watching them, and they're flying so fast. They're not just dropping, they're flying forwards. It's an amazing sight to see.
So they were doing this over and over again, which is an amazing accuracy, and I was always scared to death. My God, they're gonna, we're high, but nevertheless,
We basically did 28 jumps in all. We did 8 jumps from the building, and then we did other jumps from the helicopter right over Hong Kong, so that we would give height for the wingsuits to actually start working.
Jump is away. When we start to jump at 5,000 feet, and it takes a while before the suit's working fine, and then we go down to approximately maybe 1,000 feet or less.
They literally flew in between these buildings. Great, it was like 2 jet fighters. They did a 90-degree banking turn in tight formation and just zipped across and went out to sea. And it was great.
It's not only 2 stunt doubles who did it, but it's also the cameraman who had to follow them. And that poor guy who has this heavy camera on his head. And each time you make that jump and you open your parachute, you get this major shock, and this whole weight, boom, settles down on your shoulder. And sometimes make for a hard landing as well, as we achieved. They did a couple of tough landings, but it looks spectacular, of course. There's no visual effect. All what you see on the screen is reality. It's totally real. Nothing added to it. This is really those people flying over Hong Kong. Down with buildings right down below. It's no trickery, and that, I think, makes it also spectacular. It's like sometimes you use visual trickery, and this time there's nothing.
Well, you've set a certain standard on the first one, and now you've got to take it further. It's very difficult, but you've got to come up with new sequences, and you've got to pressure everyone to try and do it differently.
How's that?
I think there probably isn't any other actress in the world who could play this part any better than Angelina. And I think she has an edge to it, which is really the edge she has in life. She also portrayed it in this movie. She's able to really, put everything in her body. She's so always aware of what she's doing.
That was nice.
Even in the midst of hanging upside down, she's still always acting. It doesn't matter, whatever you put her in, horse riding, flying, it doesn't matter. She's always so aware of what she's doing that she will always give the best performance.
In terms of action movies, I've never been so excited about one that I've worked on. It has this epic, mysterious feel to it.
It's not just a similar, there's no repetition whatsoever. Every scene is totally different. Quite amazing, the mixture we were able to put into this movie.